In their post safety stuff, they have, they're dropping 8, so windows are tighter. There is an extra defender that normally isn't there with a 4-3 team or a 4-man rush team. So that's just training your brain different than what you're used to. Like, and if you had base cover 2 against Iowa or against any 4-3, a player that's compromised is the Mike, because he has to take 3 vertical, but he's also the guy in the middle of the field. So if you can high-low him and different stuff, if you're playing Iowa State, the Mike's not in conflict like that, because you have that star player, that middle safety who has 3 vertical. So now you can't high-low the Mike. There's just stuff like that you got to attack them different. You have to attack them with great knowledge of how their defense plays. The person that knows it the best is Brian, and that's great. He's a great teacher with all this stuff. Specifically for our room, just making sure that I know exactly where they're vulnerable in their different coverages.
Brody Brecht is on the depth chart. He got 1 snap. I think. How close is he to being able to be a more regular role? Would you say? I know you're not the coach, but
I think Brody's looking good. I don't know where he's at on the depth chart. Didn't see that one, but he's taking reps. He's looking good. I think the thing with him is just getting him conditioned to the point where he can play regularly, just because he missed significant time.
Spencer, what does it mean to have the support of your coaching staff and your teammates after Saturday?
Yeah, it's great. I don't know any other way to operate. We're myself, coaches, offense. We're just looking forward to playing on Saturday and improving throughout the week and earning the right to play confident.
have you seen a difference in Alec within Jack Johnson since last week when they got a lot of snaps?
No, I think they're both they're handling their business the same way. They're both they handle their business the right way, I'd say. So haven't seen any difference. I think they're both again excited to get back out there and play again. I'm sure it was fun for both of them to be out there for the first time. So time to build on it.
What does this rivalry mean to you?
Yeah, it's a great rivalry. My 4th time in the game. I'm excited to get it at home because it's been since I was a true freshman since we've been at home for this game. So that's exciting, but it means a lot. It means a lot to myself, the team, our whole program, the state. It's a fun game, and it's just can't wait to go play in it.
How much do you go ahead?
Sorry, I was just going to ask, what would it mean for you to be 4-0 in this game, or 5-0? Sorry, when you graduate.
That'd be great. That's the goal. We've Nate and the seniors and the older guys when I was young. They laid the foundation, and now it's our turn to continue that.
How much of them? Go ahead.
I imagine knowing Ferentz, he's probably used some history lessons here, week 1 to week 2, getting better type thing. I guess how much have you heard that this week, and how much you just kind of you've seen?
Yeah,
like
September's.
Sucked against the Saints last year, week 1. And,
Yeah. There's plenty of examples from our history. September is the month of drastic improvement across the board, really, especially when you have youth on a unit. But yeah, I'm sure he'll. Sorry, Scott. I'm sure he'll talk about it when you guys talk to him today. But yeah, that's definitely a point of emphasis, and really, again, it just gets down to practicing hard, practicing well, being locked into our fundamentals. That's the main thing.
You brought up the time stone last week. You brought up being a goldfish with Ted Lasso last year. Any wisdom for this scenario that you're in now?
No, we're 1-0. That's the important thing. That was our goal. It's the main goal for last week, and we're just working to be 2-0.
Tori's family was in the Bay Area.
Yeah, they went to a Giants game, I heard. Yeah, that's the flight, I think, from Australia to SF.
So did you give any tips on, you need to get to such and such place?
I did not. No, I think I didn't. Tori's been there, I think, at least to the airport a couple times. So maybe he gave him some heads up on good spots to eat in the airport, but I did not give him any, no advice from me, unfortunately.
Is that a good airport?
It is a great airport.
Is it really?
Yeah, no, it's all pretty state of the art. It's good stuff. A lot of no plastic bottles in the whole airport, which I think is pretty cool. If you want to get a bottle of water, it's got to be metal, which is that's really cool. Yeah, so as I have a plastic bottle in my pocket, but I'm going to recycle it, so it's all good.
Speaking of Tori, what does it do to your confidence having a punter that you can rely on like him?
I don't think it necessarily, the confidence there just, it goes into, doing my job, right? Like there's, if our special teams weren't as good as they are, sometimes you might need to try and force something on third down. But with how we play, with how good our special teams are and how good our defense is, sometimes if a defense is in the right call for what we called, the best play becomes, a check down or throwaway or something like that. Let those guys do their job. And, Torrey obviously proved that, once again, that he's a pretty special player last week.